move on. Anybody missing this? It says, welcome to the YHA.
Maybe not me. Nope, not me.
Huh?
Turns out.
Alright. Looks like I got me a room. Anybody want to join me? Alright, so if nobody owns up to this right now, I'm going to give it back to your host or your guide, and then I'll get him to ask again when you head up for dinner. Okay?
Ours looks like this.
Okay. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't want anybody to go home and they couldn't get into their room. Alright, now as I mentioned, welcome inside our ancestral meeting house. But first of all, I'd like to acknowledge your chiefs. It was your chiefs that guided you safely inside our home, gentlemen. Congratulations, job well done. Folks, round of applause. Alright, now folks, we're going to entertain you for a short while by using the aspects that you witnessed out in our village. We'll incorporate them onto the stage. So pull out your cameras, your video cameras, and use them as much as possible. But we do have one very special rule inside this house: thunderous applause. Although those loud applause at us when you hear a break after each item would be much appreciated, but in the case of an emergency, head towards the nearest exit signs in the building, either to your left or to your right. The double doors behind us will also be open, but folks, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of your journey. Kia ora. Kia ora. Alright,
Now that last bracket of items had a definite traditional flavour to it, but in this next set we demonstrate a more contemporary style of performance which has been influenced largely with the introduction of modern day technology, and in terms of stage performance I make reference to one instrument in particular. If you'd like to repeat after me, please. Ku. Ku. Ta. Ta. Kuta. Introducing, ladies and gentlemen, the kuta. So the modern day guitar will change this next bracket ever so slightly. You will continue to see the witty, which is the trembling of the hands, depicting life force in each and every living being. In essence, this helps to bring life to the stories that we tell. You will also see the modern day poi, which have been introduced to out in the village. But before that, we would like to slow the pace down just a little and share with you a love story of a handsome warrior, Tutanekai, of a beautiful maiden, Hina Moa, and the forbidden love that they shared. Now the story talks of all of the trials and the tribulations that these two faced and overcame in order to be together. Now as a result of their union, before you tonight are just some of the very many direct descendants, and in acknowledgement to these two illustrious ancestors of ours, we present to you the beautiful love song, Pokare Kariana, Kia ora. Kia ora.
Ine
You enjoyed yourself? Yes! Very good. Now we take this little part of our show to introduce to you the most familiar weapon to the Maori warrior, the taiaha. Can you say taiaha? Taiaha. Similar to the three-quarter English staff, the difference was these weapons were never thrown. They never left the hands of the warrior, purely because they represented a guardian or an ancestor of the individual that took the battlefield. So warfare, hand-to-hand combat was reality, and yes, it was a way of life for our people. Now, a few key features on the taiaha, folks. As you can see, the upok, or the head, has hair at the top used to distract your opponent, down to the mata of the face, 2 eyes to the front, also to the rear, used for spiritual guidance, leading down to the protruding tongue, or the arero. Now, the arero on the taiaha used to stab, thrust, and also to disembowel your opponent. Kia ora te. Koke! Moving up to the raparapa of the body, the tinana, this part always held. Leading into ngāte, the sharp blades. Right, sharpened on both sides of the weapon, used to bruise, to batter, to break, and also to decapitate your opponent. Kia tūpato. Right at the tip te atero, or the butt end, also used for thrusting. Now, some cases thrusted into the chest of your opponent with enough force a quick twist, opening up the ribcage and feasting on the heart while it was still beating. 9 times out of 10, struck to the crown of your opponent with a quick twist and a flick, removing the crown, revealing the brain. Lunchtime for our warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't be alarmed. We don't do that anymore. We now eat McDonald's. Round of applause. Now, before any battle ever took place, our ancestors would perform into the haka. Can you say haka? Haka. You were introduced to the haka outside in our village. Right now, we're going to present you our haka. So this is the aggressive side. You will witness the pukana, the bulging of the eyes, the protrusion of the tongue, and the ugly sounds coming from the pit of the Our ancestors used this facial gesture, like with defiance to intimidate the enemy, but also in times of warfare, used to let the enemy know that if I get my hands on you, soon you could be in here. Alright, so I would eat you. But sad to say, folks, as I mentioned, McDonald's, you're safe. But sad to say, folks, the haka we are about to present to you will be our final item that we have to share with you this evening. Would you like to see more?
Yes.
Would you like to see more?
Yes.
Same time, same place, same price tomorrow night. But folks, hopefully you have captured something about our people, our ancestors, our culture. Take it home and share it with your loved ones. Encourage them to come to our beautiful country of Aotearoa, New Zealand, to our bubbly city of Rotorua, but more importantly, right here to Tamaki Maori Village to meet the rest of our family. Folks, do travel safely throughout our country and do enjoy your dinner this evening. We'll leave you with a few words in our native language. Kia hora te marino, kia whakapapapona mu te moana, kia tere te kārohirohi mo ia koutou huarahi. Translated as, may the calm be widespread, the seas glisten like our greenstone, and the shimmer of summer forever dance across each and every one of your pathways until we meet again. Ladies and gentlemen, do travel safely and do have a happy new year. But how about one more big round of applause?
what we have for you is a small presentation taking you back 600 years in about 7 minutes. So what it tells you is how our people settled into the land, how our culture struggled but yet has still survived. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Kia ora!
Kia ora!
Scattered throughout New Zealand, you will see our meeting houses and their marae, much like the one you are seated in right now. These are the standing ground of our people. Villages and houses built today have slightly changed structurally in comparison to long ago, but their importance remains. They are places we can always return to. It is a place we will always belong. Tribes gather here. We discuss what is important to our people. We draw strength from each other, make decisions together. Sometimes when everything gets a bit much, I head home to the marae. I just sit. It's like I find my feet again, get a bit of focus back inside myself, remembering all of the people who had gone before me, knowing they probably sat where I am sitting, thinking things through. Thinking about them seems to make things right, put things into perspective. Places like this are good for focusing your thoughts. Please, sit back and think of your own ancestors for a while. Our ancestors were warriors as well as farmers. On these rich islands there was a lot to fight for. Land, resources, and mana, pride. We were here for 600 years, long enough to adapt to the new land with its wealth of wood and stone, long enough to create something new. And then it all changed again. New people arrived. We called them Pākehā, meaning other people. They came from different lands near and far, for their own reasons, which were probably not so different from ours. Most of us welcomed them because they brought new things, things that we could use. Sailing ships, plants, animals, cloth, steel, and guns. The musket transformed our wars into massacres as the tribes settled their ancient scores. And then, as the numbers of new people grew, so did their hunger for more land, much, much more. Many tribes fought against them, while others fought with them against other tribes. Eventually, a treaty was signed to protect our rights, our lands, and our special way of life. We became partners, their equals in law. But unfortunately, the treaty was not honoured by all and misinterpreted by most. We had to fight to survive. As it was 100 years ago, many believed we would die out. Besides ships, iron and guns, perhaps the greatest influence the new settlers brought with them was their spiritual beliefs. As the missionaries came and spread the word of Christianity throughout the land, our own belief systems were challenged and adapted. The concept of one God was not foreign to our people, as we too believed in Iwo, the supreme creator. It was the story of Christ and Christianity that became firmly rooted into our culture as it is today. Besides guns, the new people brought with them something even more deadly, diseases from which we had no resistance. And in our villages, thousands died. When we thought the worst was over, the Great Flu epidemic at the end of the First World War wiped out a quarter of our people. But we survived. The line was not broken, and every time the older generation felt they couldn't go on, another generation was there to take their place. I remember my grandparents, the stories my nan told me of her life, how she was born in a village on the other side of the lake. When she was 19, she got engaged to my granddad, the day he went to war as a part of the Maori battalion. Those men were fighting not just for the enemies of the British Empire, but for our people's rights to be full citizens of New Zealand. They suffered some of the worst casualties of any unit on the Allied side. They fought and died for our freedom and the pride we carry with us as a people today. Many wanted to fit into the Western world and prosper like any other, even if it meant leaving their culture behind. But my nan never agreed. I wish she was here to see how strong our culture is today and how her very wishes of its revival are taking place in the heart of our society, the tamariki, the children. My nan was a woman who spent her whole life serving her people. She died last year. She and others like her taught many of us young ones a sense of pride and respect and knowledge about who we are. I have Maori and Pākehā blood in my veins, Maori and Pākehā ancestors to remember. That's who I am, a proud descendant of both. We are taught that when it is time for an old one to depart this world, that it is not the end of an era. That's how it is for us. When one of us goes, another will rise to take their place to continue and perpetuate their legacy and our culture. There is no end.
So I hope you enjoyed that. Just give you a more of an insight on our culture. Now, who's hungry? Yes. Sorry, I. Lovely. One more hour to go. Chiefs, can you stand, please? Now give your chiefs one more big round of applause.